Bison manufacturing plant in Glasgow has been in operation since 2000 and is a major supplier of pre-stressed concrete to the construction industry in the UK. When a delivery vehicle arrives at the plant, the driver must report to security for safety induction and directions to the offloading bay.
Our facility in Glasgow has been producing pre-stressed concrete for over 10 years. The multi-stressing equipment we have on site allows us to pre-stress our 5mm diameter wires in about a minute. My first priority is the safety of all the employees. By carrying out risk assessments, identifying hazards and investigating near-miss incidents, we now have a process which minimises the likelihood of accidents. It is vital that the proper personal protective equipment is worn by each employee in the facility to protect them from the remaining hazards in the workplace. Each employee must wear a hard hat, high-vis clothing, safety glasses, ear defenders and steel toe cap boots. These have a reinforced midsole which helps prevent punctures, injuries to the feet. The most recent change to our workwear is long sleeves, which have become compulsory. Long sleeves have greatly reduced cuts and scratches from the sharp ends of the wire. It is very easy to become complacent when you have good safe processes to deal with the hazards of pre-stressing. Each process, together with good housekeeping standards, must be maintained at all times. Following these correct procedures is the very reason it makes it safe. It would only take one employee taking one shortcut to cause a wire to break and put everybody's safety at risk.
Only a trained vehicle banksman should reverse vehicles into the wire management shed. Untrained staff should not be used.
Wire like this that is kinked or any wire that's damaged should never be used in production. When you're stressing, it's very likely that it will snap with the potential to injure one of the employees.
When passing the slings between the coils, care should be taken to avoid injury, especially if the coils are subject to movement. A steel hook should be used, never your hands. The coils are lifted from the trailer using a crane and web slings. Only fabric web slings should be used in lifting. Chains should not be used as they could damage the wire or strand. By controlling and separating all deliveries, we can maintain stock rotation.
Cutting the ends of the wire is sharp. We put the end caps on to protect you from getting cut.
Before using the coil, the label should be removed. The label should be hung on the nest board for record purposes and traceability. The wire is lifted and placed into the dispensers. The wires should be inserted to the correct length and pulled through. A ferrule is then placed over the wire end. The ferrule should be wiped clean and checked to ensure that it is not worn or cracked. This action clamps the wire and forms the button head. Fingers must be kept well clear. The head must be checked to ensure a complete round shape and that no splitting of the wire has occurred. Defective heads must be removed and reformed. The wires should be run to the correct lengths, tensioned and cut before bringing the rabbit's clamp back up the tunnel. The operator must watch the dispenser to ensure that wire does not snag. The wire length should be checked to ensure it is within the correct tolerance and recorded on the first run of each day. To check the strength of the wire and button head, a sample of each coil must be tested and recorded each day. The test sample should be checked to ensure that it is uniform in shape and not showing any signs of splitting or cracking. The braking force result must pass a set reading and should be recorded. After buttoning, the pattern plate should be connected to the chains of the cable enroller and placed on the guide bars. By standing on the enroller steps, you can safely attach the overhead crane to the spool. Ensure the trolley is available to set the spool down on, and the path to the trolley is clear. The spool should be set down on the trolley carefully keeping hands and feet well clear. The wires are connected to the pulling ram, ready for stressing. Stressing may only be carried out by a trained operative. Safety checks should include making sure the 6 restraining straps are over the line, and the warning lights and alarms are working. The wire guard plates should be placed over anchors at both ends or immediately behind them. When the slack has been taken up, the ram must be stopped to check that no wires have slipped. Stressed beds are hazardous. Therefore, casting should commence within 30 minutes of stressing. If casting is delayed, the stressed bed should be detensioned and made safe. The operator must stand at a safe distance and ensure that no one is standing within 2 lines of the bed being tensioned. When full extension has been achieved, the operator must ensure the anchor holes line up and insert the anchor pins fully. When stressing is finished, the wire guard plates must be left on for the duration of the casting and curing process. No one is permitted to walk along the tensioned wires or place equipment on the bed. Should a tendon slip or break, or if the ferrule or button head fails, the stressing operation must be halted and reported. Jim Harley explains what happens next.
The production manager would be responsible for investigating a near miss if a wire was to break. He fills out a near miss form, carries out the investigation. An important part of it is to keep a sample of the wire from either side of the wire break. These samples then go back to the supplier for analysis and to get a report on what the problem was with the wire. If there's any more failures that day, obviously production should stop and that batch of wire should be quarantined and taken out of production altogether.
Detensioning must only be carried out by persons who have been trained in the safe stressing procedure. It's important to check with the lab to make sure the concrete has reached the correct strength. There are 2 ways of carrying out detensioning. The first is using the hydraulic ram, which is simply a reversal of the stressing process you have just watched. And the second is shock release. Shock release does require additional care, especially as it involves cutting the wires in the correct order using long-handled bolt cutters. Basically from outside in, switching from side to side.
We have learned from our workforce, our experiences and our processes that if people take shortcuts or fail to follow the correct safety procedures, accidents will happen. You need to take responsibility for your own actions and make sure you do your job safely. Let's all get home safely every day.